sold-out crowd in Bowling Green, Ohio on a gorgeous Saturday for college football. It is one of the great rivalries in the sport. The Toledo Rockets come to town to take on the Bowling Green Falcons. And Perry Stadium is sold out on this Saturday afternoon. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher, the former Ohio State captain, Dustin Fox. Foxy, you played in one of the great rivalries in all of sports, Ohio State, Michigan. What's it like to be a player in a rivalry like this?
Well, first off, I'm fired up today. We've got a sold-out crowd here at the Doit, and I remember all of my games against that team up north. I've got one loss. And you know what? I still lose sleep over that one loss. This means everything to these players. By the way, the proximity, 25 miles apart, these schools. These players, they grew up playing high school football against each other. The parents probably went to the same grocery stores, guys. This is huge.
Both coaches told us this is a rivalry that lasts a lifetime. It does date all the way back to 1919. Toledo won the initial meeting. They were still wearing leather helmets at that point. Today is the 90th all-time meeting in a series that is uber tight. 43, 42, and 4. Toledo leads by a game. The road team has won the last 4 meetings, but the last 6 have been split evenly, 3-3. Eddie George told us that this is a type of rivalry where legends are made. Of course, he played in Ohio State, Michigan. He's hoping a new legend will be made this afternoon. Lucian Anderson will start today for the first time in his career for Bowling Green. More on that in a moment. The Falcons won the toss, elected to defer, which means this high-powered Toledo Rockets offense will get the football first. Zach Long boots it deep. And Toledo will start at its own 25-yard line with second-year starting quarterback Tucker Gleason, who wants to avenge last year's 41-26 home loss to Bowling Green.
Now, certainly an opportunity for Tucker Gleason to end his career on a high note. I mean, this is such a big deal to these players, and to be the starting quarterback, to be able to go on the road and cap off your collegiate career with the dub. There's nothing better than that. So these players are all locked in, Matt, as we get things kicked off here.
Play action to start. Gleason with a clean pocket. Has Vandeross open. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Opening explosive play on the first play from scrimmage. Goes for 39.
Talk about taking a shot off the bat down the field. Did he maintain possession? Goodness gracious, I think he did. And they're going to go quick to the line of scrimmage.
And right back to Junior Vandeross, who is top 3 in the nation in receiving touchdowns with 6. This is such an explosive team, Dustin Fox, not just with Junior Vandeross on the outside, but of course Chip Trainum, a former Ohio State Buckeye, in the backfield.
Well, you mentioned Junior Vandeross, who's made these couple of plays to start this game, but Chip Trainum, their transfer running back, who is, I think, all world in terms of his ability, has made an impact already in just 5 games with Toledo.
Design run for Tucker Gleason. He can do that. He was their second leading rusher last season for a team that was so banged up last year at running back, and that was a big point of emphasis in the offseason, going into the portal, picking up a couple of offensive linemen and a couple of tailbacks as well.
And you said it, Matt. I mean, last year Tucker Gleason was literally the second leading rusher. So that tells you. I mean, you and I did 4 Toledo games last year. I think we had a different starting running back every single time we called one of their games.
1st and 10 inside the 30. Here is Chip Trainum, and he is dragged down by MJ Cannon, a name to pay attention to in this afternoon's game, and already some chippiness near the end zone. But MJ Cannon, a transfer, plays that slot back position. Dustin, defensively, he's an X factor for Bowling Green.
He is, and I think it's going to be an interesting day and thing to watch, the matchup between Cannon and Junior Vandeross, who plays most of the time in the slot, which is where the nickel corner is going to be playing the majority of this afternoon. You know, you talked about it. Cannon transfers in, and he plays such a vital role for this defense. And after that explosive play to start the game, it would be huge for the Falcons to be able to get a stop and hold them to 3.
And a flag comes in. This could be a delay of game. No, a false start first as the play clock was winding near 0.
Offense, number 89, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It was the tight end, Jacob Peterson, who moved first. Marcel Kerr, our referee. Now, both teams coming off bye weeks. After Bowling Green lost to Ohio and Toledo thumped Akron. Plenty of time to prepare for this rivalry. It's Vanderos with his 3rd catch of the opening drive, and he weaves near the first down marker. And I believe that'll be enough to move the chains.
And it will. They will give him the first down, and Junior Vanderos, Matt, already off to a red-hot start here for Toledo.
Here's Trainum, bending it to the end zone. Touchdown, Toledo. 15-yard carry, and the Rockets strike first in Bowling Green. Picture perfect opening drive for Jason Candle's Toledo Rockets.
Well, there's no question, and it started with that explosive play down the middle of the field to Junior Vanderos that got things going for the offense, and we really saw all of the stars have an impact on that opening drive, which was sensational for the Toledo Rockets as they get off to a red-hot start, 7-0. Great run here, but an excellent block on the outside by Cole Red, the right tackle, as Chip Trainum.
The end zone caught. Chris Hopkins, and Toledo wins it.
This was a classic in this rich rivalry back in 2005. Double overtime win. Brad Gradkowski with a 22-yard touchdown pass to Chris Hopkins. One of 43 Toledo wins in the series. Boy, did they look good on the opening drive. 6 plays. They went the length of the field, and they averaged over 13 yards per play.
Yeah, Gleason looked like Bruce Gradkowski out there making plays back in 05. What a throwback that was.
Returnable here for Bowling Green. It is Allen Middleton taken down just across his own 20. So one of the big headlines coming into this game, beyond just the rivalry itself, the quarterback spot for Bowling Green. Typically it's been Drew Pine, the transfer from Missouri. Instead, because of an injury, Lucian Anderson makes his first collegiate start.
Yeah, he's no stranger to playing, though. I mean, this guy has been getting some spot duty at times, not really throwing the ball, though. He's just been utilizing his athletic abilities, been coming into the games for, you know, running situations. Well, now he's going to be asked to manage this offense, to run this offense, and actually throw the football down the field.
There's Cameron Pettaway. He is stopped behind the line of scrimmage by Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the preseason all-conference safety.
That was a big hole that closed in a hurry because McNeil-Warren was right there. Matt, this is a guy that, you know, we'll talk a lot about him throughout the broadcast, but has a chance to, I think, be a draft pick in the National Football League come April. And a lot of people are really high in this young man who has missed a lot of time. In fact, he missed 5 games last year, and they're glad to have him back.
Lucian Anderson keeps, squirts up the middle for a gain of 3 or 4. Be very interesting to see how Eddie George and his staff call this football game with a backup quarterback in against a top 10 defense in the nation so far in Toledo.
And you also have to wonder, how much prep did Lucian Anderson have coming into the game? Did they know that Drew Pine, you know, by midweek was probably not going to be able to go? And did he get all those reps in practice? And obviously Pine is not in uniform today, so you got to think they had some inclination, and he's ready to go.
First pass of the season for Anderson falls short, looking for R.J. Garcia the second. And a quick 3 and out for the Bowling Green Falcons.
Well, not an ideal start for Bowling Green, obviously. You allow the long drive that happened in about 3 minutes and then a quick 3 and out. Now you put your defense in a stressful spot.
John Henderson into punt. Bryson Hammer, the preseason all-conference return man, back deep to receive. Hammer makes one-man miss. Now a second. Flag comes in behind as he got it out to about the 45.
Personal foul, tripping, kicking team, number 26, 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run, first down.
Great starting field position now for Jason Candle's Toledo Rockets, whose offense marched right down the field. Candle, in his 11th season as the head coach, has the longest tenured coaching staff in FBS. Dustin, his team picked to win the MAC this year. They did it back in 2022. He feels like he's got the horses to do it again in 2025.
Well, and the key is he's got the horses to do it. You know, you have Chip Traynham, who I think will be the best back in this conference, you know, when it's all said and done at the end of the season. And Tucker Gleason, when he's healthy, is a very, very productive, talented quarterback, more than capable of leading this team back to Detroit for a MAC title game.
Here is Traynham, who scored the opening touchdown.
You know, it's interesting, Matt, when this game kicked off, this building was electric. It was ready to erupt. It was all excited, and Toledo really took the air out of the building with those big explosive plays and that quick touchdown drive. And now, I mean, you could hear a pin drop in here, and this place is sold out today. So it's vital for Bowling Green to get off the field and get a stop.
Traynham dancing away from trouble and shoots up the hash for a first down. Ultimately stopped by Keon Washington after a gain of 9. But this team is so balanced when the offense is humming, Dustin, and Chip Traynham a big reason for it.
Well, no doubt. I mean, this is a guy, Matt, that already leads the Mid-American Conference in rushing. He's played in big-time games. He's played for the Buckeyes. He's played against Michigan in the game. So this is something that he's no stranger to this environment.
Jet sweep, cutting it back is Kenji Christian. Somehow turned that into positive yardage.
It seemed like it was a broken play as it began. Ends up kind of squirting out the backside. I think he slips in the backfield a little bit right at the mesh point. Yep.
One of their other transfer running backs led North Carolina A&T in rushing back in 2023. Fake it to Traynham. Gleason under pressure and wisely got rid of it. His first incomplete pass of the afternoon. Boy, would this be a huge stop for Bowling Green's defense that did not look like they could stop Toledo on that opening drive.
No, maybe they're settling in here a little bit. It'll be a big 3rd and 7 coming up here for this Bowling Green defense. And you know, you and I were watching in pregame. You know, Dylan Cunanan, their excellent sophomore kicker, has plenty of leg and was making kicks from about this range going this direction. You never know about the wind here in Bowling Green at Deutsch Perry Stadium.
They need 7 to move the chains. Gleason looking for Vanderos and overshoots his intended target. Vanderos thought there was contact No flag. And MJ Cannon in coverage.
Well, you can see Cannon right there, who was in coverage, but they also had him bracketed with a little bit of safety help over top. Pascal was covering, and there's the decision here to be made, Matt, as to whether or not they're going to attempt the field goal, and I don't think they're going to.
Your thoughts?
I'm okay with it. I never really trust college kickers at this range, no matter what university they're kicking at. It has nothing to do with the player. They're hard kicks, and field goals don't really win you games in college football that often. It's certainly not in rivalry games.
Play clock under 5. Gleason gets it off. Pressure from Bowling Green. Underneath, caught. Eric Holly III, very close to the marker. And this might have to be measured. Toledo believes they've got a first down. Wow.
And guess
what
who was
a stop by Eric George, the son of first-year head coach Eddie George.
Well, George was the one with the pressure, and then the stop was made short of the line to gain. But the point is, Matt, is Eddie's son, well, his pops knows about a rivalry. He creates the pressure, and then the stop is made just short of the line to gain by MJ Cannon. Falcon ball when we come back. Desert, but I'm in Bowling Green, Ohio, and I think it's going to be a close game. As do I think our game's going to be a close game here in Northwest Ohio.
Well, certainly that stop by Bowling Green's defense on 4th and 7, huge, just before the line to gain. Here is Cameron Petaway. Hindsight's always 20/20. Do you still agree with the call from Jason Candle to go for it for Toledo?
He knows his kicker better than I do. I've seen him kick many times. I've seen him kick against Akron last year where it was a struggle. So he understands the range of his sophomore kicker and in the risk versus reward. You have to say it's the wrong call when you don't get it, right? It's always the wrong call, but there I don't have a problem with it.
Garcia in motion. Lucian Anderson keeps and is tripped up in the backfield by Braden Alls, a preseason all-conference safety, as part of a very strong returning secondary for Toledo.
Well, that's the strength of this defense, I think, Matt. Last year, there were so many guys that were just young and inexperienced back there in the back end. That now all those guys are growing up a little bit, have that experience, something that Vince Karras, the defensive coordinator, can lean on.
3rd and 11. Pressure off the edge. Screen set up, and it is blown up hard. What a shot by Chris Tapolonia. Kavion Sherman's helmet popped off, but it didn't matter. Chris Tapolonia coming into your grill.
Man, there were bodies flying, heads popping off, and helmets flying. I mean, it was a crazy sequence of events right there, and a big stop by Toledo that's going to lead to a punt here by the Falcons. But that's what rivalries are all about, Matt. I mean, you see these tough plays, this physicality that comes with this matchup. That's what it's all about.
Boy, Vince Karras' defense this year has been extremely physical. Bryson Hammer will fair catch it just in front of his own 30-yard line, and we will step aside. Another 3 and out for Bowling Green, and an opportunity for Toledo to extend the lead on the road. Right up to kickoff. Speaking of the NFL, former Tennessee Titan great Eddie George in his first season at Bowling Green after leading Tennessee State to a share of the conference championship last year and a trip to the FCS playoffs. Knows a thing or two about playing in big rivalry games.
I'd say so. Played in a few himself.
Vandeross almost taken down in the backfield, somehow got out of that tackle.
And speaking of a George, speaking of a George, how about Eric George? Ends up coming around big number 5 to make the stop on Junior Vanderos. It looked like for a moment this was going to be tackled right there in the backfield. And watch 5 come to your screen. Good job. Junior Vanderos has made a lot of plays, man.
Down the seam, it's Peterson, their top tight end, who continues to fight for extra yards. And a pickup of 24. The explosive play starting to pile up for the Rockets.
That's the one thing that we asked Eddie about this week is what's going to take to win this game. He says we have to eliminate explosive plays. And to start this game, we're already, 10 minutes into the ball game, they've had 2 huge chunk plays that have helped this offense.
First and 10 carry to Christian. Leaps over a tackler. Well, now all 3 Toledo's offensive drives in this quarter have gotten off to great starts. They've moved the ball effectively, averaging over 8 yards per play coming into this drive. Last one stalled on a 4th and 7, stopped short. But again, nearing the red zone for the 3rd consecutive time. Underneath to Christian on the give. Sifting through tacklers and has it up for a first down.
Christian is an interesting story too, because he's a dude that played at North Carolina A&T, and you may say, well, okay, what's it like playing at that FCS school? Well, they play a lot of FBS opponents at North Carolina A&T, and Toledo head coach Jason Candle loved what he saw when every time this guy played against a big time opponent, and you can see why as he makes another first down run here against this Bowling Green defense.
Well, that and the fact that he began his career at Virginia Tech, though he never played, spent 2 seasons there, highly recruited out of high school in Birmingham, Alabama.
Kind of looks like a wide receiver. Where's the number 10? Kind of rare to see tailbacks wearing that number, and then he's a long running back. Like he's extremely got long arms, long legs, and long strider as well.
Trainer moves the chains. First down run for the former Ohio State Buckeye, who last year was going to be the starting running back for the University of Kentucky. Gets injured, only plays in 3 games, spares him another year of eligibility, ends up at Toledo, back at his home state. Less than 4 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Gleason will carry it on a design run, and he will march into the end zone with a 12-yard scamper and a 2-touchdown lead for Toledo.
I don't think you could ask for a better start here by Toledo's offense. Do have a late flag down here on the play. We'll wait on this call, but so far, Tucker Gleason, this offense, they've been really cooking.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 74. Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 5. That is the first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for both players of the game. The touchdown counts.
It was the right tackle, Cole Rett, getting tangled up with Eddie George's son, Eric George, well after the play. That's the type of chippiness you expect in the 90th meeting of this hotly contested rivalry.
Yes, and that's why the offsetting penalties, you see that all the time, especially in these rivalry games, because you're going to see players get into it a little bit after the whistle, and that's what you saw right there. But again, Toledo, they've had 3 drives. They've had all 3 drives go into Bowling Green territory. They've got 2 touchdowns on the board, and this was a great design quarterback run, Matt. They've really kind of set it up. They've been kind of methodically going down the field with, some explosive plays here and there and taking some shots. There's a look at the play, well, after the play, I should say, the chippiness, and the officials right in the middle of it. So, pretty easy call. Knock it off, fellas. How about that? You're a dad.
Well, Eddie George told us in his experience, these rivalry games are not won necessarily on the field with your play, but with your mind, both in your pregame preparation and how you handle the emotions Dustin, which you know better than anybody, having played in the same rivalry that Eddie George played in, Michigan and Ohio State.
Well, and you have to feed off that energy and emotion in a positive way, Matt. You can't let it get the best of you. And you also have to execute. It's a difficult task when you're trying to kind of channel all of these emotions. You're looking up, you're seeing this place with 30,000 fans. I've been here many times, Matt. It's never been like this. So there is an added pressure to playing at home in front of an audience like this. And, you know, so far, Toledo has brought it. They brought the juice, and we'll see if Bowling Green can match that energy here as we go throughout the rest of this first half.
Robert Hammond boots it away. Here comes Cameron Petaway, his first kick return of the day. The nation's best kick returner statistically so far, stopped in front of his own 20. And now for the third time this afternoon, we will see Lucian Anderson lead this Falcons offense onto the field. You talked about it, Dustin. He does have playing experience. This is his 15th game, but he's never started a game. And this is a pretty darn big game to start for your first time in college.
And it's a lot of pressure, but also a privilege, as Billie Jean King would say, right? I mean, that's the responsibility and opportunity that is in front of this young man here. Hey, if you win this game, you could be a legend. An opportunity for that.
There's Chris McMillan, their leading rusher. Stumbles ahead for a gain of 3. You got to think the running game has to be an even bigger part of their game plan if they're going to have success, given the quarterback situation.
Well, that's sort of been their identity coming into this ball game, Matt. I mean, they've been a team that has had success on the ground. They're not going to score quick. They were not an explosive offense. They're averaging on the season, Matt, 4.8 yards per carry. That's a top 50 number in the entire country. So they're good at running the rock.
They will run it again to McMillan. That time a nominal gain, if any, stopped by Langston Long.
Here's the difference, though. Toledo, I don't think they're very scared of Lucian Anderson taking a shot down the field. Bowling Green's got to sort of do something to at least keep them honest defensively, because at this point, Matt, the Rockets are just stacking the box and taking away the run. There's just not much push up there by the offensive line, and frankly, there's too many guys. I mean, look how close to the line of scrimmage all of Toledo's defenders are.
3rd and 6. Dump down. Left side of the field. Went to Kadarius Roberts, and not nearly enough to move the chains. And the punt unit will come out for the 3rd consecutive time today for Bowling Green.
Bowling Green's got to get a first down at some point to take a little bit off the defense that has just been out there the entire first quarter of this ball game. And Matt, this Toledo offense is legit, and this could get out of hand quick if Bowling Green doesn't put something together in terms of an offensive drive.
Not the start Eddie George was hoping for, with his starting quarterback sidelined by a lower leg injury as a flag comes in on the near sideline. Fair caught by Bryson Hammer at the 36. We will hear from Marcel Kerr on the flag.
There is no foul on the play.
Well, we just wasted about 15 seconds of our lives. Here's Toledo offense, which you mentioned, explosive under Jason Candle. And really, it's been that way for the last handful of years. Remember, he had the MAC Offensive Player of the Year a couple of seasons ago. Daquan Finn helped him win a MAC championship. Finn, ironically, back in the conference, transferring to Miami after a stint at Bowling Green, rather at Baylor. It's every year, though, Dustin, he just continues to reload. Oh, boy.
Team, number 5, 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, first down.
So that will back Toledo's offense up 10 yards. Well, I'm glad we got that cleaned up. There was a hold on Toledo's punt return unit. Our officiating crew down Paul Stout, our back judge, suffering a leg injury earlier in the game, and so they are operating a man short. But it's fascinating, Dustin, how year in and year out, despite the portal era, the NIL era, that Jason Candle just finds ways to reload in the MAC.
Well, the most important thing you have to have in this conference is a legitimate quarterback. And for pretty much the entire tenure of Jason Candle's career, he's had a pretty solid quarterback at the helm. And with Tucker Gleason, you mentioned DeQuan Finn, who was there prior to Tucker taking over, MAC Player of the Year. You got Tucker Gleason, a guy who was MAC Player of the Week last week, a guy who's been in some big-time games, and has a chance here to try and cap off his career with a MAC championship, or at least a trip to the MAC title game, as Cannon makes another play.
Picked to win the MAC this year. You saw in that last graphic they did not lose any key contributors or starters to the portal. They returned 11 starters on both sides of the ball, have 2 handfuls of preseason all-conference players returning, and they will let this clock wind down to the end of the first quarter, a quarter dominated by Jason Candle's Rockets on both sides of the ball. And a 3rd and 6 looming for a Bowling Green team that is desperate to get off the field. Toledo's offense has looked very explosive to start. They lead at 14-zip on the road in the 90th meeting of the Battle of I-75. By Toledo, their offense had well over 100 yards. Bowling Green's less than 20, and a big 3rd down looming for Bowling Green's defense, trying to get off the field here on 3rd and 6 to start the second quarter. Gleason sets up the screen. Vanderos lost the football. It is an incomplete pass, and the Falcons defense bows up on 3rd and 6.
Well, that was huge, and also very dangerous for Toledo's offense, because a turnover would be exactly what the doctor ordered for this Bowling Green defense. I mean, their offense has not gotten a first down yet in this ball game, so it may take a defensive turnover or a pick six, a scoop and score, something to bring that sideline to life and make this a ball game.
Duran's first punt sends Brennan Ridley back way deep inside his own 15. And the Hampton University transfer gets up to the 30. Well, you mentioned it. It's been the difference in this game. Toledo's offense moving at will. Bowling Green's offense stuck in reverse. They have yet to pick up a first down, with their backup quarterback Lucian Anderson starting in place of the injured Drew Pine. How do they do it here, Dustin, to start the second quarter?
Well, listen, they have a veteran offensive line, one of the most experienced offensive lines in the Mid-American Conference, even the country for that matter. They've got to give some time to Lucian Anderson to take a shot down the field. And they really need an explosive play, something to get those safeties of Toledo to back out of there. I mean, they're playing 7-8 yards right now.
Here's Chris McMillan trying to stretch it. He will not. They gave him about 1.5 or 2 yards on that carry. Well, it is a Bowling Green rushing attack that has been effective this year, averaging over 150 yards a game. But they have not threatened Toledo's defense yet with that explosive play, and we've seen Toledo's secondary hug the box all afternoon. Some trickery here. The flip goes to Cadaris Roberts. Trying to wiggle out of trouble. Tiptoes the sideline for a few more. And for the first time in this game, a 3rd and short upcoming.
I was just going to say, it gives them a chance here, Matt, because it's going to be 3rd in less than 3 or about 3. Either way, I mean, think about this. All this work to really pick up about 5 yards, right? That's how difficult it has been to move the football early in this game against this Toledo Rockets defense. So here, 3rd and 3. And frankly, to me, it's our 4-down territory.
Really?
I think so. I mean, you get a yard or 2 here, and it's 4th and 1. I'm probably going to go for it.
Anderson capes, and he gives a great effort to move the chains in the first down of the game for Bowling Green.
Well, no decision time for Bowling Green. Great job by Anderson to pick up that 1st down. And finally, now on the sidelines for Bowling Green, the defensive players can take a breather. They can sense a little relief there. So let's see now if this offense can settle in. How about that discrepancy? 10 first downs to that just first down by Anderson.
Roberts stopping on a dime.
Heck of a run, man. That thing was stopped in the backfield. And Roberts just kind of squirts out of there, gives a little L1, whatever you want to call it. I don't play video games anymore.
That's a lie.
My son does.
You don't preview every game by playing it on PlayStation or Xbox?
Okay, I'm not good at them anymore.
Okay, there we go. There's that honesty. There's Jaron Johnson, one of the top tight ends in the country, with a big gainer, but a flag is down at about the Toledo 34-yard line. Will the play stand for Bowling Green? It was desperate for some kind of offensive action to get this sold-out crowd going.
It's going to be against Toledo because Bowling Green's going to decline it.
Illegal substitution. Defense. 12 players on the field at snap. That penalty is declined. Resolve the play is the 1st down. Number 98 for Toledo must sit one play because his helmet came off without a foul.
And they were just a little bit late getting off the field, so you can see right here. That is going to be the call. It was Langston Long, number 20, is running off the field. So it's a huge break in Bowling Green now with something positive going on offense.
McMillan initially stopped, kept his legs moving, picks up 4. Totally different drive here. 3rd of the game for Bowling Green.
What a different feel this game would have if they could get a touchdown on this drive, man. I mean, this crowd is just, you can feel it. They're just waiting for something big to happen so they can just explode. And I think that would certainly help this football team offensively get into the ball game and maybe for once provide a little resistance for Toledo.
Oh, that is stuffed in the backfield by Kavion Sherman. Hello from Toledo's leading tackler, a loss of 3.
Kavion Sherman has arrived. Wow, felt that in my bones. You know, there's a lot of things I miss about football.
Not that one.
Not being the running back. How about that? Yeah, that was a big time hit there by Kavion Sherman.
Empty backfield here on 3rd and 10. Is this 4-down territory again for Bowling Green, pending what they pick up here?
If you get 5 yards, I'd have a conversation, and they're going to have a conversation regardless. Play clock was running down.
Big 3rd and 10 looming for Eddie George's Bowling Green Falcons when we return. who holds a one-game edge in the series. Matt Schumacher, the former Ohio State Buckeye, Dustin Ohio. A capacity crowd for the first time this year under first-year head coach Eddie George in the 90th all-time meeting with their hated rival Toledo, who holds a one-game edge in the series. Matt Schumacher, the former Ohio State Buckeye, Dustin Fox, a big 3rd and 10 for Lucian Anderson.
Just take off and go.
He will go. And does he have enough for Eddie George to feel comfortable going for it here on 4th down?
I mean, I think
they're going to leave the offense on the field.
I think you have to, man. You're at the 34-yard line, 33-yard line. What advantage would you gain from? Well, you're not going to punt the ball here, obviously. They're going to attempt a field goal.
Wow. Well, Jackson Cleather, rather, has hit from 56 this season and 60 in practice on this field during the bye week coming into this game. This will be from 51. Almost no wind in the stadium at the moment. They just got the snap off, but I believe there was a timeout. No, maybe they didn't get the snap off. Delay of game upcoming.
Delay of game, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, Matt, there was a player late to get in there on the field goal unit. That was 77 James Thomas Jr. So he runs on late, and it forces Bowling Green to really try to rush the execution. And now, I mean, you're backed up 5 more, and they're gonna punt the football now. That's sort of a disaster situation right there.
And now your 4th punt of the game.
And honestly, I don't even know why they were going to go for the 3. You're down 14. Have you seen their offense? Like, what's 3 points going to do you in a game like this?
Thank you.
Trying to play the field position game now against Toledo's offense, which is moved at will.
That's a great punt.
And it is down inside the 5-yard line.
Well, that
Punt
may end
of
up being the
34
best
yards.
thing, Matt, to happen to Bowling Green. They got Toledo pinned back, and their defense is playing great. Maybe their defense can get them on the board when we come back.
Now, over on ABC, Alabama at Missouri. Tigers have not beat the Tide since 1975.
Is today the day?
That's the question everybody in Columbia is asking. Another sellout in Missouri.
You were born in Missouri, partner. You got some ties to that game?
In a Tiger household.
Ooh. Oh, we are a house divided here in this broadcast because our producer is born in Tuscaloosa.
Carry goes to Chip Trainum, and he gets Toledo out of their own shadow of their own end zone with a 16-yard gain and a 1st down. Boy, that last drive for Bowling Green could not have ended any worse. They wanted to kick a 51-yard field goal, had a 5-yard penalty, ended up having to punt. Got great field position. Chip Trainum takes him out.
Yeah, all that great punt that backs them up inside the 5-yard line, and just like that, they're all the way out to the 20 after 1 snap.
There's Trainum again. That time stopped in front of the line of scrimmage by their leading tackler, Gideon Lamprin, who had to slide over from the will linebacker position for the injured Dorian Pringle.
Matt, Gideon Lamprin, number 4, who is doing such a tremendous job filling in for the injured Dorian Pringle, as you talked about, Matt, has really emerged as a big-time leader, and they put a lot on his plate. I mean, they've asked this guy to do a ton. He's the green dot guy, which means he's getting all the communication through his helmet and getting guys lined up. Well, he's done a tremendous job so far filling in.
On 2nd and 13, Trainum just tripped up. Got close to the line to gain, maybe a yard short after another pickup of double digits. Again, leading rusher has run wild so far in the first half.
These explosives are killing Bowling Green. I mean, you get him to 2nd and long, and then there he's out the gate. And he's out the gate again.
On the near sideline, lowering the shoulder on MJ Cannon near the 50. How about a pickup of 19?
Maybe a flag because one official's coming in. Remember, we are down one official, so these guys are working shorthanded.
Offside. Defense. Number 7. Penalty decline. First down.
Train him up to 80 yards rushing already in the first half. Has been fantastic in his first season in Toledo. Fake it to Christian. Gleason going to take a shot for Christian. It is caught in stride, and he's brought down inside the 10. Caden Marshall with the touchdown-saving tackle, but it's 1st and goal Toledo after a pickup of 43.
This play was designed all the way to be a wheel route out at the backside. They haven't matched up against the wheel backer Marshall. You said it, Matt, and it's just a matchup that is not favorable to Caden Marshall.
Good tackle there by Keon Washington, who's playing after he suffered a dislocated kneecap 2 weeks ago at corner.
You can see Bowling Green substitutes their entire defensive line here before this 2nd and 9 to get some fresh bodies in the game. They've already been out there a ton today, and Toledo is, you can see, I mean, their red zone efficiency off the charts. They get inside the red zone, they score touchdowns.
Gleason under center for the first time this afternoon. Fake it to Trainum. Underneath to Rudolph. He is edged out of bounds just before the goal line by Jalen McClendon.
Everything at your disposal here in this 3rd and goal. You're at the 2-yard line. You can run Gleason, you can run Trainum, you can take a shot at the end zone. They shift the formation here. You can run anything you want, the whole playbook.
It's Trainum. He is stopped short at about the 2. That'll bring up 4th down and goal. We've already seen Jason Candle go for it on 4th and 7, and his offense is staying on the field.
I'm a big proponent of going for this in this situation, Matt, like almost every time. But boy, it would be tough if you just went almost 100 yards and got nothing. Think about the momentum shift that would be for even for Bowling Green if you got to stop here after they start at their own 4 and then get stopped at your 2.
And Jason Candle is going to talk about this a little bit longer. Burning his first time out of the half.
Of the first half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
They were unsuccessful on their only other 4th down try earlier in this game. It was a 4th and 7. What are you drawing up here for Jason Candle?
I would probably, in this, just because of the situation, like this is not a book analytics situation for me. I've watched Bowling Green's offense not be able to do much in this first half. If you take 3 points here, it's a 3-score game. Just saying.
So you take the points.
And it's so not like me.
It is not like you at all.
It has to do with the situation in the game at hand and watching what I'm seeing on the other side of things. But I'm kind of making the point, for myself to go for it too, because if you don't get it, then that offense that I just said can't really move the ball. They've got to go 98 yards. So, look, they're going to go.
3 tight ends in the game, all stacked on the right side.
Play action?
Yes. Floated to the end zone, and it's incomplete, intended for the tight end Connor Jones. And again, a 4th down stop for the Falcons defense. And Kal-El Pascal hobbling off the field, one of their top defenders in the secondary after making this play.
Boy, that's just a miss by Tucker Gleason on the bootleg rollout. 4th and 2 they go, Matt. 88 yards to stall Bowling Green ball when we come back.
His overshooting is intended for target R.J. Garcia.
Garcia is arguing that he was held down the sideline by Avery Smith, the cornerback for Toledo. There was some hand fighting. You can clearly see it. And a fistful of jersey, too, as he's trying to, I think, take his jersey off him. I understand why Garcia is frustrated right there. That probably should have been a flag.
Just 12 receiving yards so far in this game for Bowling Green.
I like him taking the shot, though. It's the first deep shot they've taken down the field.
Markel Porter stacked up at about the 3-yard line by Doran Ray Jr. and now 3rd and long pending for Bowling Green.
Well, at some point, you got to take the training wheels off of Lucian Anderson here and try and open things up a little bit. I know this is not the most ideal situation in terms of where you're at on the field, but boy, you've got to be able to get some first downs, allow your defense to have some sort of rest, and try to flip the field.
Going to the ground, Porter tackled by Kavion Sherman. And another punt situation. This will be the 5th punt of the game.
Yeah, Toledo's defensive front has done a really nice job today handling this Bowling Green offensive line. It's really talented. But I think because they're sort of one-dimensional here offensively, it's allowed Toledo to tighten things up a little bit more, have a couple more guys inside the box, and now they're going to get the football back here, Matt, with probably excellent field position.
John Henderson's punt is fair caught in plus territory for Bryson Hammer, a boot of 38. And again, great starting field position for Toledo. Now, if you're Bowling Green, if you can get to half 14 zip, you're feeling really good about yourselves, because this could very easily be 28-0. The way Toledo's moved the football.
If you've sat here and watched this entire first half, you're like me. I'm surprised it's only 14-0. Toledo has really not been able to be stopped for the most part, and Bowling Green sits here, down 14 points. If they get a stop here, Matt, they get the ball to start the second half. Remember, they deferred to start the ball game. Toledo took the rock.
They took the football and marched right down the field in 6 plays, went 70+ yards. Both Toledo scores coming in the first quarter. Bowling Green's defense has looked good in the second quarter, though they've been on the field for a long time in this first half.
Well, they've done a really nice job. They've got off the field twice on 4th down stops.
Gleason airs it out. Hits Holly underneath for a first down. Gleason nearing 150 passing yards in the first half, coming off his best performance of the season in the blowout victory against Akron 2 weeks ago. Went 16 for 19 with 3 touchdowns and nearly 240 yards. Quick throw out to Vandeross. with blockers. Vanderos showing that speed. Move the chains.
And a good block on the outside there by Eric Holly, who just made the previous catch. But man, Junior Vanderos is just a different cat. I mean, you can see all these guys on the field. That player is moving at a different speed than everybody else. It's like, man, he's in fast forward.
Sideline warning. Bowling Green. There is no yardage foul associated with that violation.
This is going to wind us down to the 2-minute timeout of the first half. Toledo trying to make this.
Powered by your favorites.
By Dustin Fox, a 14-0 lead for Toledo, and driving after they began this series with great starting field position. Now the Falcons pinned inside their own 2, forced to punt. There's Trainum, and moves the chains for a first down after the tackle by Andrew Hines. "15 first downs in the first half for Toledo. They've done it on the ground. They've done it through the air. And besides those 2 fourth-down stops, they have looked almost unstoppable in this opening half. Bobbled snap. Gleason gathers, has a wide-open man. It's Peterson for a touchdown. His first as a Toledo Rocket.
Man, I don't know if Tucker Gleason just saw how wide open Peterson was as he was trying to gather the football on the snap, but this was nearly disaster for Gleason. Ball was low, and then he sees that Peterson's wide open down the field for the touchdown.
PAT is good from Dylan Cunanan, and it's a 21-point lead for the Rockets.
And the snap was a little bit low off to the right, so he wasn't looking downfield. He was looking at the football. A good job of concentration by Tucker Gleason, and then to be able to deliver that strike. Heck yeah, he's happy. He's fired up.
Is that just busted coverage? I mean, how did Peterson end up so wide open on that play?
Well, I have to go back and take a peek at the coverage there in the back end, but to get that wide open, yeah, I mean, it's clearly some folks looking into the backfield and maybe thinking they're going to run a little bit more. I don't know. There was a little kind of fake off to the left to Trainum, and that alone may have just done enough to bring the safety over, but nonetheless, a quick scoring drive, 5 plays, 43 yards, and they're in the house. You can take a peek here. That's a linebacker in the middle. That's Lamprin, 4, who is looks like he was going to take Trainum and then turns around and Peterson's wide open.
Remember, Bowling Green down their best starting linebacker for the season, Dorian Pringle. They've had to move guys around. And they are down big at home in the 90th iteration of this great rivalry in which the road team has won the last 4.
Maybe they can get something on this return, because Cam Petway is one of the best returners, if not the best returner in the country. Offensively, Matt, Bowling Green has 46 yards of offense.
They do kick it to Petway, and he will attempt his second return of the day. Petway with a seam. Ran into his own blocker at about the 29-yard line. Well, this week we'll have a pair of Monday Night Football games for you. Josh Allen and the Bills taking on the Falcons, 7 Eastern. And then the Bears and the Commanders over on ABC. Coverage begins at 8. 2 timeouts for Bowling Green. They do get the football out of the half. How aggressive are you with Lucian Anderson making his first start at quarterback today?
Down 21 points, I think you have to be as aggressive as you can. You know, they get the football to start the second half. which obviously will help him. But being down 3 scores, it doesn't matter. I mean, eventually you've got to find a way to get some points on the board. And yeah, there's only a minute and 15 seconds left, but heck, what do you have to lose? It's a rivalry game. Take some shots.
He has attempted 5 passes in this game. They've gone for 12 yards. Did have that one shot play down the far sideline to R.J. Garcia. Incomplete. There's a screen set up for the tight end, Jalen Johnson. Near the first down marker, but I believe half a yard short. So the clock continues to wind here in Bowling Green. Still 2 timeouts left for the Falcons.
I'd hand the football off here quickly. Well, they're wasting a lot of time. Get the first down and then get up there and call timeout.
They did give him a first down, and that is an incomplete pass to Petaway. Well, I'm not sure the clock stopped at all.
It did not stop
in the
at all.
stadium to reset the chains.
Well, that was really bizarre, because if they gave him the first down, the clock should have stopped around 50 seconds. Instead, you know, it ran down to 37, 38 seconds.
Toledo shows pressure. Delayed blitz picked up. Down the sideline, and a flag comes in. Andre Fuller, the transfer corner, was in coverage of Finn Hogan and got a little too much jersey.
All right, now you're going to have the football inside Toledo territory.
Pass interference, defense, number 3, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
Yeah, a lot of contact down the field. Trying to get Finn Hogan the football and face guarding, whatever you want to call it, contact. Pretty easy call on Fuller.
The lone newbie in the starting secondary for Toledo. Transferring in from Arkansas Pine Bluff in the offseason.
Why not take another shot like that?
Almost looked like that ball might have gotten tipped.
It had
the hands of
had to be
Anderson.
tipped.
Stops the clock at 24 seconds. Still those 2 timeouts for Bowling Green. And they do get the football out of the half.
Well, Matt, if they can get 10 yards here, they can have at least a field goal attempt.
Pressure off the edge. Sets up a screen perfectly. Up the middle, it's Petaway. Inside the 10 and the 5. Touchdown, Bowling Green. 45 yards. Whoa.
Forget a field goal attempt. How about a house call? Cam Petaway. Come on. What an effort to get into the end zone. This little tunnel screen, missile screen, whatever you want to call it, down the middle of the field. And how about the effort by Petaway spinning into the end zone, dragging defenders? Wow.
His first rushing touchdown of the season puts Bowling Green on the board. And I beg your pardon, it's his first receiving touchdown of the season. And it puts Bowling Green on the board.
And with Bowling Green to get the football here to start the second half, how about the momentum you're going to get from this play? Absolutely perfect.
He almost outran his blockers.
Yeah, oh, no doubt.
Finally, something for this capacity crowd of 24,000 plus to really cheer about at the Doit. Built all the way back in 1966. This the 300th game inside the friendly confines.
And that was one of the most well-executed tunnel screens I think I've ever seen. Such a great job. That young man is explosive. Matt, he nearly took that previous kickoff return to the house. Had he not ran into his own blocker, there was a scene. You can see how explosive that young man is. He returned the opening kickoff of the year back, right?
98 yards.
It's Lafayette.
Squibber picked up by Rudolph. Flag comes in late with about 8 seconds left on the clock in this first half.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 14, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Guessing Jason Candle will probably just take a knee.
Not usually in his character, but with only 8 seconds left.
Yeah.
And inside his own 15. It does look like Tucker Gleason will sit on it to end the first half.
Well, Cameron Petaway brought the Doit back to life and gave a little bit of something to this rivalry game here this afternoon, because it just seemed like this was going to be a steamroll by Toledo, and all of a sudden just a little bit of resistance by the Bowling Green offense to find a way in the final minute of the first half to get on the board. And now they're going to receive the opening kickoff of the second half. Matt, an opportunity here for Eddie George and his group to go to halftime with something positive to point to. Their defense has played lights out. So, I mean, yeah, there's 21 points on the board, but the box score doesn't define how they played. They've gotten off the field. They've been on the field the entire day. I'm eating up all your time, partner. I'm sorry. I'm just fired up about this rivalry game. We got a game here.
Because of a 45-yard screen to the house, it was more yards than their offense had had all day. Bowling Green makes it a game at halftime.
Say it's a must score for Bowling Green, but man, it sure is close.
They are, of course, playing with their backup quarterback, Lucian Anderson III, because
You never know what can happen. It's
was ruled out for the game about an hour before kickoff with a lower extremity injury he suffered in the loss to Ohio 2 weeks ago. He is the better passer of the two quarterbacks. Lucian Anderson got into a little bit of a rhythm there on their final drive of the first half.
Well, what they do, Matt, they took a shot down the field, tried to get the ball to Finn Hogan. They got a PI call out of it, which then got them across midfield. They ran a perfectly designed tunnel screen to Cameron Petaway that was the house call, you know, for 45 yards. And here you go, 21-7. You're getting the football here to start the second half. There's a reason why you play 60 minutes.
The most dangerous return man in the country back deep to receive, Cameron Petaway, averaging over 33 yards per carry, leading the nation. Toledo one game up in this series, 43-42-4. And the second half is underway. Here is Allen Middleton. The Page one tackler uses a stiff arm to get an extra yard or two on another. And now here comes the Bowling Green offense, which had just a shade over 100 yards in the first half, 45 of which came on that screen for a touchdown to Cameron Petaway.
I just feel like, Matt, that in this game against your rival, you're a 2-3 football team. You're down your starting quarterback. You're playing the backup, who is a super athletic dude. Like, just let it rip, man. I would just tell the young man at halftime, and you know, the offense in general, like, let's go out here, let's have some fun, let's sling the ball around the yard, let's run the football, let's play physical, and see what happens.
They will run it on the first play of the second half to Cameron Petaway, and he burrows ahead for a gain of 7. That's the best gain they've had on first down all day today.
Well, maybe want to just get the football in his hands a little bit more. You know, sometimes in your biggest games, you want to give the football to your biggest stars. And Petaway is absolutely that for the Falcons.
Redshirt freshman from Farmington Hills, Michigan. Bowling Green was his only FBS offer. Jet sweep goes to Kadarius Roberts, and he is upended a yard shy of that first down.
Positive gain on second down, going to allow for an opportunity to convert this 3rd and 1 coming up here. You can see the jet sweep action, getting the football out there to Roberts.
BG was 1 for 6 on 3rd down attempts in the first half against a top 25 3rd down defense in Toledo. Third and 1, up the gut. It is awfully close to that line to gain. Looks to be half a yard short.
Oh. If they don't get it, you've got to go for it, I think. It's like 3 inches.
Looks to be some indecision here, and now the punt unit will come on late.
You can't punt the football here.
With less than 20 seconds on the play clock and some boos in Dwight L. Perry Stadium.
Yeah, I don't agree with that call.
Particularly with as well as Toledo moved the football in the first half. Over 300 yards of offense for the Rockets. Bryson Hammer, bobbled the fair catch at his own 15 after a boot of 51 yards. Now some extracurriculars. Hammer surrounded by orange jerseys, no flags. These programs separated by about 25 miles. It's one of the great rivalries in college football. Very meaningful to both communities.
You can take a look here. He did bobble that return. Matt, I'm just curious your thoughts here, partner. What's your opinion on what they decided to do to punt the ball there? I mean, if it's 4th and 1, no problem. 4th and 2, no problem. 4th and inches, also, you're down 14 points. Your offense just had all that momentum before halftime. Boy, that, and also sort of sends a message to your sidelines that we can't get a couple inches.
With a veteran offensive line. One of the most veteran in the country this year.
Absolutely.
Fake it to Trainum. Long throw to the boundary. It is Trayvon Rudolph, the Northern Illinois transfer, who's fit in seamlessly in his 6th season of college football at Toledo. Final year of eligibility for a guy that was one of the top targets in his time with the Huskies, a 4-time All-MAC recipient. Here's Chip Trainum. At 86 yards on the ground in the first half. The MAC leading rusher brought down by Gideon Lamprin. 3rd and short.
Well, Chip Trainum has been averaging over 7 yards a carry, Matt, in this game thus far. And there was a look at Brandon Fisher, the defensive coordinator for Bowling Green. He's called a pretty nice game thus far.
It goes to Trainum with a hole. It had just enough to move the chains. Well, the score may be a bit deceiving to viewers at home, but the 21 points that Bowling Green's defense has allowed, I don't think accurately depicts how well they've played in this game. What do you think, Dustin Fox?
Well, Bowling Green's offense, how many first downs did they have there in the first half? I mean, it took them till basically the end of the first quarter to get a first down. The defense was out there like all day.
And
only 6 first downs in that entire first half. That's a nice job. Again, Bowling Green's defense is flying around. Andrew Hines, backup Mike Backer, ends up making that stop. Really nice job.
Oh, and remember, this is a Bowling Green defense that returns just 1 starter from last year.
That's how you play Mike Backer. You just kind of feel it out and you wait and see when the back's going to turn it upfield, and you shoot your gun, you come up there and make the stop. 2nd and 15 coming up here.
Brandon Fisher, of course, son of the longtime Tennessee Titans head coach Jeff Fisher, who drafted Eddie George back in the 90s. Gleason evades pressure, takes a shot, almost hit Junior Vandeross III. Good coverage by the FCS transfer Jalen McClendon.
Man, it looked like Vandeross was like 20 yards away from that football, and all of a sudden he just comes underneath and nearly has an opportunity to get his hands on the ball. Man, game of inches.
Big 3rd and 17 here for the Falcons defense. Play clock under 5. And they did not get it off.
Delay of the game. Offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, now it's 3rd and forever. You don't want to be too conservative, though, here if you're Bowling Green. You've done a nice job to this point. If I'm Toledo here on this 3rd and 20, I just want something short where the ball's in the hands of number 1 or number 2, and then make Bowling Green make a tackle.
It goes to number 1, Chip Trainum. Picks up nice positive yardage there. Got it back to about the original line of scrimmage. Tackled by Eric George. 4th down in the punt unit coming out for Toledo. Another 3rd down stop for this Bowling Green defense. Their 4th of the game.
Like I said, Matt, I've been impressed with the way that they've been fighting Bowling Green's defense. They've been on the field a long time for a lot of snaps and just continue to keep their offense in it. And they nearly blocked that. Maybe they got a hand on it. Not sure.
Received by Brennan Ridley. Good starting field position for Bowling Green. Trying to win the 90th meeting of this rivalry, which has been split over the last 6. See in the all-new ESPN app, the final game of our ABC tripleheader. Number 10 Georgia squaring off against Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium. One of the great rivalries in college football, often forgotten about. Think about the Iron Bowl, I think about Georgia-Bama, think about Bama-LSU, Florida-Georgia, of course. But it is the Deep South's oldest rivalry, as we welcome you back to Northwest Ohio's oldest rivalry. And a one-hand grab by Jiron Johnson goes nowhere, makes it 2nd and 10.
I want to know how big Jiron Johnson's hands are, because he just snatched that out of the air like he was playing with like a kid-sized football. My goodness.
39th consecutive game with a reception. 2nd longest streak in the country, behind only Indiana's Elijah Surratt. In action later today against Oregon. Monster top 10 showdown in the Big Ten. Big time stop in the backfield. The 2nd TFL today for Kavion Sherman. Loss of 4 on the play.
Really nice job. Sherman has been all over the place. The outside backer for Toledo, wearing number 38. Leading tackler this season on Toledo's defense. Only had 11 tackles all of last season, Matt.
Didn't even expect him to start
wild
this year.
Impressive.
Screen set up on the outside. It is well defended by this top 10 defense in the nation. And the punt unit comes out again for Bowling Green. It's back-to-back 3 and outs to start the 2nd half.
You know, the one thing we haven't seen in this game, and typically you do see it in a rivalry game at some point, a big turnover. Whether it be on special teams, whether it be an interception, scoop and score, something like that. But both teams this year have been awesome at creating those turnovers. Something's got to give when you look at that stat line.
They're 9 turnovers apiece, not only tied for first in the MAC, but top 25 in the nation. Seventh punt of the day for John Henderson. A flag comes in. There was all kinds of contact on the near sideline.
Probably going to be a hold against Toledo.
Now Bryson Hammer got out of there before a potential return.
Terrell Crosby Jr., number 5. I think who's they're going to get with the call.
Holding, receiving team, number 5, win the kick, 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, first down. Timeout.
Tucker Gleason and Toledo with the football when we come back. Day after a knee injury to one of their star players. Morale was a little bit low.
This is their cat.
Well, this season, big man on campus. Well, this season, big man on campus is actually a cat named Pudge. He's everywhere, Dustin Fox. He's got NIL deals. He's got marketing deals. And today he was featured on College Game Day in Eugene, Oregon.
Well, their head coach won a Heisman Trophy, and he's not even as famous as their cat.
One of the smaller animals of college football. Of course, he's not the actual Bowling Green mascot, but he's become the unofficial mascot of the Bowling Green football team. Their long snapper, George Carlson, owns Pudge. Brought him into the locker room in the offseason the day after a knee injury to one of their star players. Morale was a little bit low. He thought, you know what, I'm going to bring Pudge into the locker room, try to boost morale. Boy, did he. And the team has...
I think not just the team, like America has responded to the locker room cat.
There's Chip Train, and the ball is loose. And I believe recovered by Toledo. Punched out by Kal-El Pascal. Nearly the first turnover of the game.
Well, we just talked about it. At some point, maybe ball security is an issue. Yeah, right there, punched out. And luckily for Toledo, the sideline is their best friend right there. Because that would have been the first turnover most likely of the ball game. But play on, they can pick up the first down. Tranum's had himself a day, 18 for 104. It's a pretty good average.
Over his MAC leading season average, 95 yards per game. Gleason with all day connects with Rudolph, who climbed the ladder at the 45 for a pickup of 16. Now this Toledo offense humming on their second drive of the second half.
That's just a tremendous effort to go up and get that football by Rudolph and bring it down. Cam Washington in coverage.
Gleason takes another shot. Miscommunication with Rudolph. Went back shoulder, and a late flag comes in as Gleason was hit after the throw. A very, very late flag, and we'll wait to see from our referee Marcel Kerr what the call is.
Toledo's backing up.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 65, 15-yard penalty, second down.
So it's the left tackle Stephen Gales with the unsportsmanlike. Initially, Tucker Gleason made it appear like there was going to be a late hit on Evan Branch Haynes, but instead the penalty backs up Toledo's offense.
Take a look at the left side of your screen. Gleason goes down. And then, yeah, you're not allowed to pull a guy off a pile, and that's what happened right there. Evan Branch Haynes, was the one who went low on Gleason.
There's Kenji Christian on 1st and 25. Beg your pardon, that was 2nd and 25. Now 3rd down for the Rockets. And again, Bowling Green's defense, Dustin, in a situation where they're one play away from getting off the field.
Well, in most situations, a 3rd and 18 you'd be thrilled about, but this Rockets offense, they can prove, or they've proven that they can get first downs in any down and distance. They're not going to punt like Cornell did last night on 3rd and 18.
Screen set up to Christian. That is snuffed out at a nominal gain. Gideon Lamper and their Mike linebacker with the tackle. Another successful defensive series for Bowling Green.
It's interesting. Outside of the first couple of drives of the game, it's been what you would expect the rivalry game should be. It's kind of been feeling each other out. It's been good defense played by both teams. It's been physical. It's been chippy at times. I just feel like, Bowling Green's one play away from making this an interesting 4th quarter.
Emilio Durant's punt is short.
They're going to have good field position here. Bowling Green may have it near midfield, Matt.
Wow. Wow. This is going to be at the 49-yard line after a 15-yard shank by Emilio Durant. Bowling Green's best starting field position of the day when we come back. Our ESPN NHL coverage begins with The Point at 5:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Hockey, a big sport here at Bowling Green. 1984 national champs. Best starting field position of the day for Bowling Green after a 15-yard Toledo punt. Roberts reversing fields. Well, that could have been a much bigger loss for the Tennessee State transfer. Tackled by Andre Fuller. Losing 2 on the play.
Bowling Green just trying to do anything with misdirection. Not a trick play, but they're just trying to do something. I mean, they are, I would say, a little limited with their backup quarterback who just hasn't had the experience and reps in a game.
We've seen 3 shots down the field today from Lucian Anderson. None of them have resulted in completions. There was that penalty, then a couple of incomplete passes. But prior to this game, Dustin, he had not thrown a ball yet this year.
Which is amazing considering he's been in games. He's played mostly as a ball carrier. And you can see that just 1 of 8 on 3rd down today. I'd be trying to find Jyron Johnson, man. That guy's a beast.
Breaking over the middle of the field. Instead, it's a deep shot for Garcia. He was held, and the flag is out after he had a step on Avery Smith.
It's actually a really smart play in the back end by Avery Smith because this was going to be a touchdown. He was beaten by Garcia. The ball was thrown perfectly.
Pass interference, defense, number 4, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
And trust me, I'm like, I would consider myself an expert in this category because I played at Ohio State as a cornerback, and I've been beaten before. And when you get in that defeated position, it's not the NFL. It's not a spot foul.
He was a high school quarterback turned cornerback. The understudy of Quinyon Mitchell, now the starting corner for the Philadelphia Eagles. Avery Smith has become Toledo's best cover corner. Time for Anderson, floats it over the middle of the field dangerously, and well defended by the safety Braden Alls.
Well, you've seen when they've taken shots down the field twice now, they've gotten pass interference calls. And frankly, I think a lot of it comes from the fact that Toledo just doesn't expect it. And so when you're thinking they're just going to run the football or do something short, well, you sort of like panic when the ball's thrown deep, that you just don't want to allow them that deep shot.
Chris McMillan gains 4. You have to get 7 on this drive if you're Bowling Green.
Are you asking me or asking Eddie George? Because the last time
I'm asking you, Dustin Fox.
I mean, if you get anything positive here on this 3rd down, I'm going for it in 4th down.
3rd and 7. Need to get to the 26 to move the chains. 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, and a 2-touchdown lead for Toledo. And movement up front. This might back Bowling Green up. Boy, this was the one thing, Dustin, that Eddie George emphasized after their loss to Ohio, a team that they moved the ball well against, had over 300 yards of offense, but too many drive-killing mistakes against the Bobcats.
Yeah, and now, I mean, it really puts you in a tough spot. That extra 5 yards, you could have used that on 3rd down.
Anderson, a keeper, running left, has a seam.
Never mind.
Anderson has a 1st down.
Never mind.
Biggest gainer of the day for Lucian Anderson, goes for 13.
And I think that's what Bowling Green fans are used to seeing out of Lucian Anderson, because they typically would bring him in when Pine was the starter to run these little design quarterback runs. And these officials love to talk, don't they?
Chris Apollonia is down for Toledo. Did get up under his own power, it appears. And a little bit limpy as he's hobbling over to the Toledo sideline. Remember last year he missed all of the season with a hip injury. Has been huge for this Toledo team, which replaced 4 vets at the linebacker position and are without Damon Olesen this year. Their leading returner at the position suffered a knee injury in June.
You can see here, he gets rolled up on, just looks a little awkward. Paget, the center, is the one I think that ends up rolling up on him, or maybe it was Anderson. Nonetheless, that is a pretty big loss for this Rockets defense if he can't get back in. At least temporarily, he's on the sidelines, and we'll see. Bowling Green's offense, though, man, with great starting field position because of the shank punt, and now they're on the move.
Fake the run, time to pass. Anderson zips it in there. Complete to Kadarius Roberts. Through a tight window. 1st and goal.
As tight a window as you're going to find, and just a tremendous throw by Anderson. And then how about Roberts going up and getting that thing? That is not an easy catch. Has to know where he's at on the field too to make sure to get a foot down in bounds. There's 2 defenders. Like, that's just a well done play by Bowling Green.
To the air again. Back shoulder throw. Is it caught in bounds? Yes, it's a touchdown for Jacob Harris. Here come the Falcons.
Nicholas Thompson, the safety, was the man in coverage. And that was just a heck of a throw to Jacob Harris.
First passing touchdown of the season for the backup quarterback, Lucian Anderson III.
And Matt, let's take a look at our Allstate Good Hands play. Brought to you by Allstate. Because Jacob Harris makes a heck of a play. And really a well-thrown football. You got man coverage here in the back end. And it's Nicholas Thompson, 22 in coverage. Can't throw that any better. Has the awareness to get the foot down in bounds. The official's right all over it. And partner, the battle of I-75 is getting interesting.
14 unanswered for Bowling Green. And Eddie George's team has life in front of a sold-out Dwight L. Perry Stadium in the 90th meeting of this classic Ohio rivalry. Zach Long will boot it away for the Falcons.
And this game partner has had some memorable finishes throughout the years. Think back to 2019, 2022. Been some really crazy finishes. We'll see if we're going to have another one here today, partner.
A big one coming up at 3:30 as part of our triple header on ABC. Red River rivalry. Oklahoma comes in undefeated against the Texas team that's limping a little bit after that loss to Florida. And what will we see from Toledo? They've had a couple of drive stalling penalties to start the second half. They have yet to score in the third quarter. Chip Traynham continues to churn out 6- and 7-yard gains. Over 100 yards on the ground today for the former Ohio State Buckeye. And it looks like one of Bowling Green's defensive linemen is down. Haven't been able yet to confirm who that is for the Falcons. And Eddie George, their first-year head coach, is out.
Dalen White, 57, is who is down.
Sophomore from Louisville, Texas. That's a good sign. He was completely still there for a moment. And now will be helped to his feet.
There's 57. That's White. Just gets that leg rolled up. Bottom of that pile.
Second and 4 after the injury to White. Traynham patiently waiting for blockers, moves the sticks. Just 63 yards in the third quarter for Toledo. Almost feels like, Dustin, that they've gotten a little bit more conservative with the lead, which has dwindled in this quarter.
It does, and they're sort of playing into Bowling Green's defensive hands in some ways. I mean, when they're throwing the football and taking those shots and creating explosive plays, like, to me, that's when the Rockets are at their best. That's when they're firing on all cylinders, and that's when they're the most dangerous.
Third straight carry to train them. Evan Branch Haynes in on the tackle. They can let this roll to the fourth quarter if they decide to.
You got to remember, though, Matt, I mean, I've played in a lot of these rivalry games, and things get a little tight. There are human beings on both sidelines, and the emotions are real, and there's pressure involved in this game. So I'm not saying that they're getting conservative, but overall, I mean, these players they're playing a game, they're trying to win, and they're looking at the clock, and they're like, we got the lead, and there's going to be 15 minutes left here, and that's it.
Great catch by Eric Holly III, who last year rotated into wide receiver for the first time in his career. We'll make it 3rd and short when we come back for the fourth quarter in the 90th meeting of the Battle of I-75. Separated by just one game, Toledo up in the series 43-42-4. They try to close it out against the surging Falcons when we come back. Bowling Green Falcons have scored 14 unanswered, and now a monster 3rd down and 3 to start the fourth. Matt Schumacher, the former Ohio State Buckeye, Dustin Fox, and Bowling Green's defense has been up to the task on 3rd down so far today. Gleason rolling right, under pressure, has the pass caught by Junior Vanderos to extend the drive.
Players make plays, pure and simple. And not Luther Vanderos, Junior Vanderos, excuse me. What a play by Junior Vanderos as he goes up and gets that football and comes down with it inbounds on a huge 3rd and 3 conversion. Unbelievable.
5th catch for 83 yards for Vanderos. Fake it to train him. And down goes Gleason. First sack of the game. It's David Afogo for the Falcons.
Could have come at a better time for Bowling Green. All day to throw. Gleason had all day sitting back there, just couldn't find anybody open. It's more of a coverage sack than anything. It was a late in the down sack by Afogo.
2nd and well behind the sticks for Toledo. They've been in this position a lot in the second half. Was there contact early? No. And it's Jalen McClendon, a National Defensive Player of the Year candidate last year at Tennessee State, with the stop.
It's tight coverage to me. And now 3rd and 18, the place is coming to life. Huge opportunity here for the Falcons to maybe get the football back, being down only 7 points.
Pressure comes. Gleason, a design run, running for his life, taken out by Gideon Lamprey. And the Falcon defense gets the stop to force a punt.
Just a great job by Bowling Green's defense. They came to life in that series. It appeared for a second after the catch by Vanderos that Toledo may just go down and score. There is a flag down the play.
Brennan Ridley will let this bounce into the end zone. We'll wait to see what the flag is. Looks like it could be a false start on Toledo.
Illegal formation, 5 players in the backfield. Kicking team. That 5-yard penalty will be assessed from the touchback spot. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Timeout. Media.
9th penalty of the day on Jason Candle's Toledo Rockets, who have seen Bowling Green score 14 unanswered. We'll be right back after this. Bowling Green tennis player Libby Blair.
Yeah, shout out to Libby. What an awesome player she is. And Mike Bunnell, their head coach here at Bowling Green, did a great job setting that up through My Tennis Pro back home, Sean Keenan. The tennis community's tight, man. And, you know, we're on the road. You know, I'm trying to reach out to the football coaches and the tennis coaches to try and get some access. Thank you to all involved.
1st and 10 shot from Anderson. It is jump ball. Is it intercepted? Yes, it is. Brandon Alls with the first takeaway of the game. Wins it back for the Rockets.
Well, we said it, partner. At some point, a turnover would be created, and it would be huge. At least in that situation for Bowling Green. I mean, it's a deep throw down the field, kind of like a punt in some ways. We'll have to verify, did that ball hit the ground? Do we have an angle to verify if that football hit the ground or not?
I mean, that was a true 50-50 ball.
Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say 50-50 ball. When that ball goes in the air, you've got a guy. Now, they have 2 guys there, but there was an opportunity to get the football.
Well, it looked almost initially, Dustin, that Kadarius Roberts made the catch, and at the end had it wrestled away as they were going to the ground by Braden Alls, who led Toledo last year with 4 interceptions. One of 3 preseason all-conference selections in the defensive backfield for Toledo this year. This has gone to replay review. Here's another look at it.
No, I don't think Roberts ever had possession of the ball. He has it there. He's trying to come down with it. The question is, does it hit the ground? You just can't tell from that angle.
This might be a situation where the call on the field is the key.
Correct.
Coming out of review. If it stands, it would be the 10th takeaway of the season for a Toledo defense that leads the MAC in turnovers. And what a momentum-changing swing against a Bowling Green offense that has scored 14 unanswered and has looked the more polished offense in the second half. Here is Marcel Kerr.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. 1st and 10, Toledo.
Well, you mentioned it at the end of the first half, Dustin. It was only a matter of time before that first turnover came from one of these 2 teams, both of which are in the top 25 in the country in takeaways. And it comes in a huge spot against Eddie George's Bowling Green Falcons.
And he gives the ball back to Toledo's offense here. 12:54 to go. And Bowling Green's defense again, they're going to be called upon here to try and get the football back again.
They get the train. There's a stop in the backfield by Miles Bradley, who plays the buck position in this Falcons defense.
I am with you, though, a little bit, Matt, when you said it seems as though Toledo's becoming a little bit more conservative here in the second half. And maybe it is. Maybe it's just because, you know, Bowling Green's defense is playing better. I can't tell you, definitively one way or the other what it is. But either way, it seemed as though there were bigger running lanes in the first half. There were more wide open guys down the field.
At least it double clutched that. McClendon made the stop. There is a flag in the backfield. It might be on Toledo, Matt.
I think you're going to get 74 Cole Rett.
Do you accept the penalty if you're Bowling Green?
Absolutely. If it's a 15-yarder, which I think it may end up being, yeah, absolutely. Maybe after the play, too.
Offense,
Oh, no.
number 74, 10-yard penalty, second down.
So it'll be 2nd and 22.
10 penalties on the Rockets this afternoon.
I thought they were going to maybe get something after the play. Nonetheless, it's a hold on Cole Rett.
Trainum in motion. Joins Gleason in the backfield. Fake it to him. Gleason downfield. Hits his man in stride, but it's incomplete. Terrell Crosby Jr. had it in his hands and lost the football.
Unbelievable. Just a flat-out drop. I mean, you can't throw this football any better than Tucker Gleason just did. That is such a well-thrown ball in stride, and there's no words to, say how's that happen. Just maybe a lack of concentration at the last moment. Wow.
Play clock winding down here on 3rd and 22. 4-man rush. Gleason underneath, caught by Holly III to at least get them back towards the original line of scrimmage, but another punt upcoming for Toledo. Boy, has this Bowling Green defense totally flipped the script in the second half.
They have done such a good job just hanging around, just keeping the game close, giving an opportunity to your offense. The offense hasn't done much in this game, but they've done just enough.
Emilio Duran just got that away. Here's Brennan Ridley. The Hampton transfer out across the 40 and brought down.
Good starting field position here for the Falcons, Matt, and they are down just 7 points.
All 4 of Toledo's offensive drives in the second half have resulted in punts. Bowling Green hanging around at the Doig. Welcome back to Bowling Green, Ohio, the 90th iteration of the Battle of I-75, and it started in a flurry for the Toledo Rockets, leading 21-zip, but that was their last score with 1:13 left in the first half. First half ended with a 45-yard screen to the house to Cameron Petaway for Bowling Green with little time left, and then a back shoulder throw by Lucian Anderson to his tight end Jacob Harris, the first passing touchdown of the year for Bowling Green's backup quarterback, playing in place of the injured Drew Pine today, making his first collegiate start. And somehow, some way, the Bowling Green Falcons are a score away from tying this game. A lot of window dressing there. Design run for Anderson, stuffed by Kavion Sherman, the leading tackler for Toledo, his 10th stop of the day. Anderson under pressure, took a shot. All kinds of hand fighting there in the secondary, no flags. And there is a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Late on the near sideline.
The initial call is ineligible downfield.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 57, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's the center, Paget. All right, the center, 57. I mean, this is not a screen.
Just lost his head a little bit there. The 3-year starter at center. Preseason first teamer. A little hot on the pass to R.J. Garcia. Brings up 3rd and 15 for Bowling Green. What do you make of Lucian Anderson's start today?
I mean, it hasn't been great. Certainly not great statistically. He's done enough to keep him in the game. I mean, he hasn't made a critical error. He had the 1 interception, which they're trying to take a shot down the field, and I understand all that. So, hey, I'll tell you in about 10 minutes.
Evades 1 tackle, but not the second from Kavion Sherman. What a day for the first-year starting linebacker, who was not even expected to start this year for Toledo, but got a chance in preseason camp due to an injury, and has just run with it for this Rockets defense.
Yeah, he's been all over the field today for Toledo, and man, they've been playing between the 40s. Pretty much feels like the last, hour of real time, just trying to feel each other out, and something's going to have to give here.
John Henderson to boot it away, almost had it blocked. Bryson Hammer waits for the fair catch at his own 19. A boot of 41 for Henderson, who's been a busy man this afternoon. Coming up at 7:30 Eastern on ABC and the all-new ESPN app, the final game of our ABC tripleheader. Number 10, Georgia, a 1-loss team, squares off against the Auburn Tigers in the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Eddie George knows a thing or two about playing in big rivalries. Former Ohio State Buckeye told us this rivalry between Bowling Green and Toledo, in his mind, is a top 5 rivalry in college football. Traynham straight ahead for a gain of 2.
Well, Matt, this rivalry has a very, very close proximity. It's competitive, 43, 42, and 4. And they don't like each other. Flat out. I mean, this is a rivalry where they just don't like each other. And that's what makes it so special. Toledo is very content to run down the play clock here, Matt.
Mason throw on the run to Rudolph. Stopped 2 yards short of the line to gain. Of the notable FBS rivalries around the country, this one is top 5 in terms of proximity. And that's part of what makes it so heated and highly anticipated every year.
We know how close it is. In fact, you and I partnered. We stayed in downtown Toledo last night. And it was a very easy 20-minute drive here to the stadium this morning.
Toledo just 3 for 10 on 3rd down attempts this afternoon. Need to get to the 30 to move the chains.
Chip Traynham time, if you ask me.
Here he is, and he is stopped in the backfield. TFL, Isaiah Thomason. And the Falcon defense bows up again.
I think the right decision to run the ball with Traynham, who's been averaging almost 6 yards a carry today. But you can't account for a TFL. An unblocked defender, 17, Isaiah Thomason, is in there in a hurry. And that's a big dude, man. And wow. Bowling Green's defense has just really come to play here in the second half.
They still have not allowed a score since the end of the second quarter. Here's Brennan Ridley. Escapes 1 tackle and then gets stacked up at about his own 30-yard line. Again, Bowling Green's defense keeping them in this game. Lucian Anderson, in his first collegiate start, has a chance to lead a game-tying touchdown drive when we return. A memory that many Bowling Green fans hold dear in their hearts. Snapped a 9-game losing streak in the rivalry back in 2019. It was Scott Loeffler's first year on the job. Since then, these two teams have split the last 6 years, 3-3. Here's Chris McMillan. He is tackled for a loss. Should Eddie George find a way to come back in this game as the first-year head coach for Bowling Green, he would be the 10th Bowling Green head coach to win their debut in this rivalry against Toledo.
Pretty good company to be joining as well. Dwight Perry, Coach Meyer, Dave Clausen. Just mentioned Scott Loeffler as well. And I never thought that we would be talking about Bowling Green being down 7 points with 7 minutes to go and having football.
There's some trickery. Garcia's going to throw it. Has Petaway open. He catches it in stride. There goes Petaway. Touchdown, Bowling Green.
Absolutely speechless right now. I have no words. I cannot believe what we have just seen, Matt Schumacher. That's the best moment I've seen today. And I think it may be the best moment that AT&T's seen, because that is going to be our AT&T best moment of the day. A little trickeration here by Bowling Green. R.J. Garcia to Cameron Petaway. Petaway's second long touchdown reception of the day. And my goodness, partner, can you believe what was once a 21-0 lead for Toledo and appeared to be, I don't know, like name the score if you're Toledo. One of those kind of games. To now we've got a tie ball game here. 7 minutes to go. This place is sold out. It's rocking in a rivalry that stems back to the early 1900s. The 90th meeting between these two schools.
.21 unanswered for Bowling Green. Cameron Petaway's first 2 receiving touchdowns of the season have come in this game. One for 45 and that one for 73. We're tied up at 21 with 7:03 to play in Bowling Green, Ohio. Trayvon Rudolph cut down with a flag on the play. We'll wait to see what Marcel Kerr has to say.
Going to back up Toledo here half the distance to the goal, Matt. Yeah, I think they're going to get Toledo here. 22.
Return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 22. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
That was their safety, Nicholas Thompson, on the kickoff return team. And so Toledo's offense way backed up inside their own 10. It's been a perplexing second half for Jason Candle, Toledo's head coach, who calls the plays of one of the most explosive offenses in the country. They have led the MAC so far this year, averaging nearly 36 points per game. But they have been shut out since halftime so far this afternoon.
And now they're backed up, Matt. And Toledo's defense is playing with a lot of confidence right now.
There's
Bowling Green's defense, that is. Excuse me.
Kenji Christian, really no gain on that play. Evan Branch Haynes from the nose tackle spot. And Isaiah Thomason was in there as well. How do you get some momentum back on your side, given where you're at on the field and the time that's left if you're Toledo?
I mean, it's a very simple answer to that question, Matt. And you got to get the football in the hands of number 2. You have to. He's the best player you have on your team. He's the player that the NFL scouts are calling about. Junior Vander Ross, he's in motion right there. You get him the football, period.
Gleason hit as he threw. Ball on the ground. It is a recovery for Thomason on the goal line for Bowling Green. Miles Bradley with the swat. And Isaiah Thomason with the recovery, and the first takeaway of the game for the Falcons.
It's just an absolute beauty. Absolute beauty by Miles Bradley.
And they're going to review this to see if Bradley was in the end zone, I believe. It looked to me like his knee wasn't quite down as he got the ball over the plane.
Clearly a sack fumble. The question is, where was he when he got possession of the ball? Matt, it was an explosive get off by Bradley. It was a violent motion to get the football out, and then the recovery. Isaiah Thomason, 17. Where's he at? I mean, what an athletic play.
If he's not in the end zone, he's inches shy. Regardless, what a swing for Bowling Green.
Call on the field of a fumble recovered by the defense in the field of play. And we're going to spot the ball at the half yard. After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. First and goal for Bowling Green.
Bowling Green trailed in this game 21-0. It looked like Toledo was going to run away with a rivalry victory. And instead, Eddie George's Falcons, with basically a brand new roster and brand new coaching staff, have fought and clawed, and now they are inches away from taking their first lead of the game.
Incredible. Just incredible, Matt.
3 tight end set. Ball on the nose of the end zone. Chris McMillan cuts it upfield. Touchdown Falcons! BG's first lead of the game. You said it, Dustin Fox, speechless. It's hard to put into words what we've seen transpire in this game. At one point, Eddie George's Bowling Green Falcons had 5 yards of total offense to Toledo's 170 in the first half, and boy, has this thing been flipped on its head.
You know, I would typically say that I would be surprised. I've covered this conference for 13 years. This isn't a Tuesday night, though. You know, or a Wednesday night when anything crazy happens. I mean, this is Saturday afternoon, two good football teams, and it's like pure action. It is absolutely bananas what has transpired over the last 90 minutes here. And I'm going back to basically, I would say the final minute, Matt, of the first half, when it's 21-0, and we'll do a full recap here momentarily after this kick and break down all the insanity that has occurred. I am a little speechless right now.
Zach Long boots it away. Trayvon Rudolph receives it at his own 5. Breaks it outside and crawls across the 20-yard line. Toledo came into this game the MAC favorite and a 2-score favorite, and it looked that way early. This touchdown pass at the end of the second quarter made it 21-zip. But then life, with 13 seconds left in the first half, Cam Petaway goes 45 yards on a screen, breaking tackles for a touchdown. That made it 21-7. Then Lucian Anderson, his first touchdown pass of the year, cuts into the deficit even more, finding Jacob Harris for his 3rd score of the season, and then some trickery. R.J. Garcia II finds Cam Petaway 73 yards to the house to tie the game at 21. And then it got even crazier. Bowling Green picks up their first takeaway of the game. Ends up on the 1-yard line, and they punch it in with Chris McMillan to take their first lead, Dustin Fox, with under 6 minutes to play.
And look, somehow Toledo now, they have to respond. They have to remain calm. They have to show some composure here and channel these emotions into, you know, putting together a drive where they have to score.
Heavy dose of Chip Traynham, like we've seen all afternoon. Traynham now up over 115 yards on the ground. MAC leading rusher to this point in the young season.
There's plenty of time for this Toledo offense to work as we've got flags on 3rd and short. Jacob Peterson, I think they're going to get with a false start. That's their tight end. It's his 2nd of the day, Matt.
False start offense, number 65, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
I think they got the wrong number, but go ahead, Matt.
Doesn't it feel like Toledo has just become a shell of themselves as this game has gotten tighter and tighter, and now they trail for the first time?
It's almost like they're shell-shocked.
8 second-half penalties for the Rockets. And now 3rd and 6. Vander Ross in motion. Pressure comes. Gleason evading.
Vander Ross is open, or he was.
Incomplete, and it's MJ Cannon, the transfer corner turned nickel, with the stop, bringing up 4th down.
You have to punt the ball. I mean, it's 4th and 6. I'm blown away because Bowling Green's defense has played so well. They played lights out here, especially here in the second half. And Matt, Toledo, think about this. The penalty on the kickoff return, it set him back right to the 4-yard line. Now a penalty on this drive, another flag here again. The penalties have just absolutely crippled this Toledo football team today.
False start off kicking team, number 38, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
It's tough to win any football game, let alone a rivalry game on the road when you can't get out of your own way.
Bowling Green in search of its first MAC win of the season and of the Eddie George era. He spent 4 seasons at Tennessee State, completely turned that program around, winning a conference championship and taking them to the FCS playoffs in his 4th and final season a year ago. Brought numerous staff and players with him to begin a new era of Bowling Green football. What a signature win this would be in the early goings of his career. So a lot of football to play. Brennan Ridley waves for the fair catch. And it'll be Bowling Green football at the 35. And some extracurriculars after the play. Cameron Petaway getting into it with a couple of punt team members for Toledo. And you just referenced it. A penalty on the kick return set up Toledo inside its own 5, led to this. Miles Bradley punches it out. Isaiah Thomason recovers. And the very next play, Chris McMillan's 3rd rushing touchdown of the season to give the Falcons their first lead of the game.
I'm more surprised that Toledo didn't get a first down on that last drive. I thought they'd get the ball right back and they would just, all of a sudden there would be a sense of urgency. They'd get back to what they did in the first quarter. They're an explosive offense. They'd find Vander Ross. They'd find Chip. All these guys that had made plays early in the ball game, I thought they'd come to life there. And then, Bowling Green's defense stood toe-to-toe with them. It was 3rd and 1, Matt, and then they had the false start. And how about this? Bowling Green, they're running downhill right now, Matt.
15-yard gain to Kadarius Roberts, one of the players that came with Eddie George from Tennessee State. First down, Bowling Green.
That's a really cool play design. Everybody thinks that it's going to go jet motion all the way across the formation, and he sticks the foot in the ground, and the play is designed to come back. It's well done.
Think about this. Bowling Green came into the day 106th in the country in scoring. Eddie George told us it still hadn't felt 5 weeks through the season like their offense had gotten going. The engine was on, but they weren't in drive. Today they start a backup quarterback who hadn't attempted a pass this year. And now they have 28 points and a 7-point lead with 3:57 to go against their arch rival. What a story in Eddie George's first year at Bowling Green.
Well, we talked about it a little bit in the open, Matt. And in terms of a game like this, it's a huge rivalry. This is when, like, guys step up and become legends, become household names. And I'm not saying he had the perfect game, but I think people will remember the start by Lucian Anderson if they somehow are able to hold on to this victory, or hold on to this lead to get the victory, I should say. I mean, Lucian Anderson and Cameron Petaway, those two dudes. And I mean, you can name numerous dudes on defense that have played amazing today, but just incredible resilience to be in this ballgame. They shouldn't even be in the game the way this game started, Matt.
Trailed 21-0 early.
28 unanswered.
Stopped in the backfield, but then Kadarius Roberts with an effort to pick up a couple of more yards. That is Allen Middleton, one of their wide receivers. He'll have to sit for a play. 2nd and 9. As the clock continues to churn, Toledo does have all 3 of its timeouts plus the 2-minute timeout. They are in the danger zone here with the ball at midfield. Heavy dose of the run. It's Chris McMillan, making it 3rd and 6. Jason Candle electing not to call timeout here.
I would not want to punt this football back to Toledo. if you can get anything close to making this a 4th and 2, I would consider going for it if you're Bowling Green. 3rd and 6, pick up 3-4 yards here. I'd be all about being aggressive and not wanting Tucker Gleason to have the football again with about 2 minutes.
Anderson keeps trying to find a hole in there, picked up maybe 1 or 2. So Toledo calls timeout, gives Eddie George and his staff a chance to think about this, whether to go for it or punt it away.
I wouldn't criticize either decision right here because it's 4th and 4. I think it's a little too far to go for it. But I'd also be concerned giving the football back to one of the best offenses. I mean, not obviously one of the best offenses in this conference, but they're just notoriously good. And we know what Tucker Gleason can do. So
despite the fact that they've been essentially anemic the entire second half, you still would fear punting them the football here.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Eddie George has yet to go for it on 4th down in this game, but it appears he's going to here on 4th and 4 with a lead.
The one thing that gives you, some confidence here if you're Bowling Green is that your defense has played lights out. They have stifled him. Talking about Tucker Gleason. And you've got the lead. They're just going to try to draw him off sides, man. You get a 1st down. It's 4th and 4. Why not? This doesn't hurt anything. You get up to the line and see if you can get a free 5.
Will be a delay of game on Bowling Green.
Delay of game, offense, number 57, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So Eddie George will elect to play the field position game here and rely on his defense, which has allowed his team to mount this 28-point swing.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, the turnover, the stops on 4th down, they have just been lights out. Brandon Fisher, their defensive coordinator, deserves a ton of credit for how they performed today.
Well, that punt was shanked by John Henderson. His shortest punt of the day. Pretty good starting field position here after the 24-yard boot for Toledo.
It's like a net of 15 yards, man, on that punt.
2 minutes, 33 seconds. 2-3-3.
Well, Jason Candle's offense historically explosive, and we saw it in the first half. But so far in the second half, Dustin, they've managed just 95 yards. How do you change that here with 2:33 to play and 2 timeouts?
I'll say it until I'm blue in the face, and that is get the football to number 2. Junior Vandeross has to catch the football. I keep wanting to call him Luther Vandross for some reason. I'm just not that smart.
You probably take that as a compliment.
I'm sorry.
Long throw is complete to the NIU transfer Trayvon Rudolph. Now he caught that ball in bounds, so the clock continuing to churn here. Toledo going with tempo.
Junior Vandeross is on the hash mark top of the screen in the slot.
Gleason looking for Holly, and the flag comes in. Victor Vasquez in coverage, and I believe he's going to be whistled for pass interference. No, check that. It's Jalen McClendon.
Pass interference, defense, number 8, 15-yard penalty for the previous spot, 1st down.
And they're going to have to change the game clock here because it has continued to wind down despite the penalty and stoppage of play.
How many times has that happened today, Matt? It happened against Bowling Green at the end of the first half, so something's going on. They've had some issues with that.
Tucker Gleason was pointing at the scoreboard.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 2:02. 2:02.
Or put 17 seconds back on the clock.
Well, yeah, it can't blow past the 2-minute warning.
Well, if you're a BGSU fan, you're thinking,
you're
why not?
thrilled, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
First down and 10, ball near midfield. Chip Traynham dancing and taken down. Gideon Lamprin, his 12th tackle of the game. Two minutes left in the 90th meeting of the Battle of I-7. In the first half, they've scored 28 unanswered to take a 7-point lead as Toledo is driving with the football on 2nd and 12. Coming out of the 2-minute timeout, they have 2 timeouts left. Matt Schumacher, the former Ohio State Buckeye, Dustin Fox in the 90th meeting of this heated rivalry in which Toledo leads by a game, 43, 42, and 4. A reminder coming up next on the U, Alabama State, Jackson State. You can catch kickoff over on the app. 3-man rush. Gleason delivers a strike to Junior Vanderos. His 6th catch of the game to move the chains.
That's exactly who they need to find. And that's not good right there. He's a little gimpy after the play. Here he is isolated in the slot. Does a good job creating the separation. We talked about the matchup before the game. MJ Cannon, their star corner / nickel. That's the matchup to watch. We'll have to also keep an eye on the health here in the final minutes.
With Chip Traynham, Vanderos stayed on the field, by the way, lined up in the slot for that run to Traynham, who continues a monster day, over 120 yards rushing for the former Ohio State Buckeye, who ran for 83 in a rivalry game a few years ago against Michigan. He's played in these big games many times before. Need a touchdown to tie if you're Toledo. Gleason hit as he threw and almost intercepted. Almost the game-sealing takeaway for Caden Marshall.
Well, Caden Marshall nearly comes up with the interception, but the pressure by Bradley was nearly there to get home for the sack or a sack fumble. Bradley has had himself a whale of a game. He's the one who had the sack fumble in the end zone. 3rd and 5.
Gleason incomplete.
Intercepted.
They say it was picked off.
I think he did.
MJ Cannon, they do say intercepted it. Now this will be reviewed on the bobble by Trayvon Rudolph.
Matt, I think he intercepted the football.
Oh my goodness.
The ruling on the field is an interception. Play is under further review.
Matt, he caught it off his rear end.
That's a pick.
That's an interception.
Wow.
We had the butt fumble. That was an interception off of the rear end of the Toledo wide receiver Trayvon Rudolph. That was unbelievable.
There were no turnovers in the first half. We knew coming in that at some point turnovers would be a story. Two teams that came into the day tied for the MAC lead with 9 takeaways apiece. Toledo drew first blood.
Yeah.
But since then, 2 consecutive turnovers forced by the Bowling Green defense. Maybe the game-sealing one with 1:06 to play.
Well, to me, that's clearly an interception.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. Interception.
Wow.
And with just 2 timeouts, Matt, game's over. Take a few knees.
And wasn't that the story all second half for Toledo? Drive-killing mistakes, whether it was turnovers or penalties or both. And ultimately, it's a turnover to seal their fate in a game in which they led 21-0.
Just an unbelievable play.
Pudge the Cat's going to be purring all night long here in Bowling Green.
There is no doubt about that. And Eddie George, I wonder if he's pinching himself right now because, like, he has to be in a little bit of disbelief. I don't think there's a fan in the stadium, Matt, that feels like they had a chance to win this game at any point in the first half.
Timeout will be taken with 1:01 maybe left on the clock. Might take a look at this. Well, Bowling Green came into this game off a bye, as did Toledo. But unlike the Rockets, they came in limping into this game. Not only literally with injuries, but also figuratively with back-to-back losses to Louisville and to Ohio. Eddie George so disappointed in his team's third-quarter execution. He won't be disappointed today in their third quarter of second-half execution. What a comeback. One for the ages in this rivalry.
Well, rivalries are remembered for moments, Matt. And there's more than a handful from this game alone that Bowling Green fans are going to remember for a long time.
And on the other sideline, shock and disbelief.
I've watched the whole thing and I'm still in disbelief.
Toledo's offense had 308 yards in the first half. Here's Chris McMillan taking more time off the clock, lunges ahead to make it third and manageable. And a timeout, Toledo. They're last. Well, this fourth quarter has been absolutely bonkers, starting with this ball inside the 5. Miles Bradley punches it out. And Isaiah Thomason with the recovery on the doorstep of the goal line. Chris McMillan punches it in for a touchdown. And then on the last drive of the game for Toledo, they were driving. Tucker Gleason had made a couple of nice throws. That one gets picked off by MJ Cannon, who Dustin featured early in this game as an X-factor defensively. Ultimately comes up with what is possibly the game-winning turnover today.
That stat is pretty remarkable. That's on the screen right there, partner.
Wow.
Well, they're 54 seconds away from putting a 1 in there. There will be a little bit of time here, Matt, after they're going to run this out to the right. And when they start the play clock, let's see how much time is there going to be.
About 6 seconds, looks like.
Yeah, so I would snap it and go run out the back of the end zone.
Maybe let this wind all the way down, call a timeout, talk about exactly how you want to execute what could be the final play of the game.
Absolutely. Five seconds. I think that I think that's the right call. I don't think you want to punt the ball away. And
still 4th down. Game clock operator, please put 6 seconds on the game clock. 6 seconds.
Well, Eddie George took
Game
over
clock
this
will start
program
on the snap.
with just 35% returning production. That was 130th out of 136 FBF teams.
Correction. Toledo has declined the 5-yard penalty for the delay of game.
And he's on the precipice of taking down a program that brought back 11 preseason All-MAC honorees. A program projected to win the MAC this year, the Toledo Rockets. 6 seconds away from tying this series at 43 apiece, and a potential field rush here at the Deutsch.
they could also throw the ball up in the air as far as they can, or out of bounds or whatever, depending on how much time you can get off the clock before you launch the football.
Just got to make sure all 6 come off that clock.
Correct.
Where this ball is on the 20, you do not want to give Toledo a chance.
Has elected to take the 5-yard penalty for the delay of game. They have declined a 10-second runoff for the foul occurring in the last 2 minutes with the clock running. 4th down. Game clock will start on the snap.
So how are you defending this if you're Toledo? Is it just an all-out blitz to get to Lucian Anderson?
Yes. I mean, absolutely. I mean, this is a desperation play. Bowling Green's not trying to do anything other than run the clock out.
Here we go on 4th and 11. Anderson runs it away. Down to 3 seconds. 2 seconds. It's all over! Bowling Green mounts one of the biggest comebacks in this rivalry's history. And here comes the student section.
It's a foundational moment for the Eddie George era here at Bowling Green, Matt. It's a win for the ages. Unbelievable.
First win for Bowling Green since 2004 when trailing at least 21-zip. Eddie George becomes the 10th coach in program history to win his debut in this rivalry. And how sweet it was trailing 21-0 late in the first half.
When Eddie puts his head on the pillow tonight, he still may be in disbelief a little bit. I promise you that. Look, Eddie George has played in a lot of rivalry games himself as a Buckeye against that team up north. And I'm sure that he'll remember this one just as much as anyone that he ever played in.
Bowling Green wins a remarkable comeback in the Battle of I-75, one for the history books. They have tied the series at 43 apiece. For Dustin Fox, our entire crew, Matt Schumacher saying so long as we send you to Tiffany Green and Jay Walker.